going to start this off by introducing our new counsel. He's lead counsel, civil rights attorney, Andrew Stroh.
Yeah, anybody in support, come on in.
Make sure you're close. You're not close to the
We've met several times. Mike had mentioned it. Yeah. If it happens, it happens. Yeah.
Come on, you guys. Yeah. Anybody who's here to support Brian, come over here and stand with us.
Michael, can I give you my camera, please? Take a few pics whenever you can.
My dad.
My name is Andrew M. Stroh. I'm a civil rights attorney and the managing partner of Action Injury Law Group. We're a Chicago-based yet national law firm that handles police misconduct, police shootings, and police brutality cases across the country. We're here today with the family of Captain Brian Babb. His father, Lee, his mother, Ms. Holloway, his sister, Stephanie, and his former wife, Stephanie Woodcook, as well as other members of the family and friends. On March 30th, 2015, Brian Babb was in the sanctity of his own home. His therapist was on the phone with him and called the police to tell them that Brian was in distress and was having a hard time. Rather than de-escalate a situation where clearly a person was in distress, a person they knew, a military veteran who suffered from PTSD and traumatic brain injury, the officers took a military-style approach and brought in a Bearcat and serious weapons, and without cause or provocation, shot and killed Brian Babb. I'm from Chicago. I have police shooting cases all over the country. In this town of Eugene, they took a military approach which resulted in the unjustified and unconstitutional death of Brian Babb. 16 months ago, the Babb family filed a federal Section 1983 civil rights lawsuit against the city of Eugene and Officer Will Stutzman, who shot and killed Brian. It's our understanding that the police department in Eugene has a pattern and practice, which is called a Monell violation, of using unjustified use of force against civilians. How do we make this stop from happening? Today, the Babb family stands here in pursuit of justice 3 years later. Justice, what does that mean? That constitutes new policies, new procedures to protect our veterans as it relates to unjustified use of force. 3 years later, nothing has changed. What have we learned from this tragedy? It's my understanding that the police department is thinking about bringing in new officers. How about training those officers? How about providing mental health training for these officers dealing with people in distress? How about developing a program and protocol around managing situations involving military veterans? The leadership of Eugene has failed, and they need to make a real commitment to change. Brian Babb was a decorated military veteran. He didn't die serving in Afghanistan. He died in the sanctity of his home by the unjustified, unconstitutional shooting by Officer Will Stutzman. The city is responsible. Brian Babb was 49 years old. Connor no longer has a father. Kaylee no longer has a father. Lee and Ms. Holloway have lost their only son. The city of Eugene needs to learn from this tragedy, and how do we move from here? And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian's father, Lee Babb.
I'm not going to do near as well as Andrew. I haven't done this before, but I have some comments, and thank you all. Thank you for being here today. As you know now, I'm Evan Lee Babb. Brian is my son. When Brian graduated from Churchill High School, I would have paid his way to go to Oregon State. He said he wasn't ready. Jobs in 2 years in the Army, spent mostly in Germany. He got a job with Morris Brothers in Tangent, Oregon, and worked nights and weekends, and spent most of 10 years working and finally graduating from Oregon State. Brian was a family man with wife and 2 children, Kaylee and Connor. When 9/11/2001 happened in New York City and the downing of the Twin Towers, he had a really big desire to help do something. He was now a lieutenant, and he started going to Army training schools to help him qualify to be deployed overseas in Afghanistan. He was close to 42 years old. He earned his captain bars. I'm very proud of my son, Brian. Brian loved the military and the police. On March 30th, 2015, he was killed by the Eugene Police Department. I love my son and really miss him, and I want justice for Brian, his family, friends, and myself. When Brian came home from Afghanistan, he was badly injured and was never the same again. We want to make a difference, so this does not happen again.